Welcome back to F8 and Sandwich for the final part of our 5-part journey throughout Diary of a Wimpy Partypooper. Now this is the final, so I hope you guys all enjoy. I have some new stuff for you guys, some really new stuff. I just finished the entire book, and I hope that you guys enjoy. It's gonna be so much fun. And it was such a well-written story, and I honestly love it. I hope you enjoy it too. It's amazing to think how far that we've come. Me 7 days ago was just in my room here, kind of like making this review, and now I'm so excited to share the final part of it. The 5-part journey, me making my first video, and now I'm here. It's amazing, and I just absolutely love it. So, for this review, we are going to be taking place between pages 162 and 217. It is going to be amazing, and I love it. So let's start right here. Let's start on the party. Greg does not have a great experience at the party, does he? Well, he knew that his experience with birthdays was not delightful, but let's keep on rolling on how this is going. Usually in a Diary of a Wimpy book, and as I was saying, usually things just go wrong, and they never actually get better. So, in this book, they kind of get better, and then something goes really wrong, and that's kind of like the ending of the book, and that is kind of what happened, but it has a different aspect when it comes to his birthday party. So he's getting everything ready, and he's starting to get, he made his own mix with Kool-Aid and whatever. He checked his bird box, nothing was in it after like 2 hours, and there was now he made like an entire fence of what was going on, and it was amazing because he took like rakes and stacked them all up. I made it, and there was some lawyer there, and he took him he was like, oh, here's your VIP seat over here, and it was like a tent because the Boy Scouts never came, so Greg didn't want to build out the entire tent. I think that's what happened. I'm not 100% sure, but that's kind of the point of the story. And as we get into it, people start coming and they start rolling in. Not really, the money starts rolling in. A guy complains about using the premium and getting a rash on his, you-know-what. And because he charged for premium toilet paper, which I kind of find genius and stupid at the same exact time. But anyway, so he's charging money to get money on his birthday to find this micro creatures card. Now we've known about this for a million chapters, or whatever sections, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, whatever he writes in. And we've learned a lot about that. Now, the micro creatures card is getting really rare, and in the hunters, the three-eyed Feeble, I think it's called. They try and find it, and it's amazing how he ends up really trying to find it, and then he found a couple of people trying to sneak in and find the micro creature card packs. The people who were scouted for, I think. Where are they? We'll see. I think they're right here. Then we're going in. This is the fence, by the way. I'll show you a picture of the fence. Oh, there it is. That is the fence right there. Yeah, the fence is right there. And we have blah, 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 blah. He's making his Kool-Aid mix right there. Pretty amazing. And he's putting on some premium spray on the thing, and he got a rash. And this is do not admit. Those like the bullies or like the kids or whatever. And he gets the wrong cake, I guess. It said hazelnut allergy instead of whatever. Because he said that there was supposed to be no hazelnuts, so they wrote the wrong thing on there. And that was pretty hilarious. Cool off, VIP. Oh, they have a pinata, and then yada, and we go on until we finally get to this part where, what was I even saying? I was saying something about, they find the three-eyed Thebo guys were trying to find the birthday presents, and then they end up looking through to find the micro creature cards because they are looking straight for it because it's worth millions of dollars, I heard. And we get to a very suspenseful part of the day journey type thing, and it's where I talked about this a little bit last episode. It was about Cool Brian. Do you know Cool Brian? I think I explained about it. It's like Brawley's best friend. If you read the series, you would go on about it. But Cool Brian is basically the ones that Greg was denied for his birthday about. Now, Cool Brian is also the ones that are mowing the neighbor's grass, and the grass is supposed to be scary. There's some monster in it, and they ended up making this. I'll show you. It's right over here, and they have these like scary. Yeah, here it is. It's scary long grass right there. That's it. And you can see a little bit, not really much, but that's the thing that Greg's so scared about, is that there's something in there, and he thinks that there's some eyed creature. And as they're eating out of the cake, and as he's about to open up all his presents and look all through, he ends up going and finding this and then he ends up finding out after the Cool Brians ended up mowing up the lawn, something jumped out. And it was a deer. A deer with long lanterns jumps out and goes on to Greg's deck. Now, if it doesn't get any more suspenseful than this, he ends up, so it jumps up over the fence and it destroys every single one of his presents. That is someplace that is in the wrong. The camera's going everywhere. Yeah, okay. Alright. The thing about it is, it's so amazing how things can go so wrong and so right. I love that, how Jeff Kennedy does that, but it was amazing. And that was kind of the climax of the part, and everything's all destroyed. So now we're kind of getting into the and the party's over, everybody leaves. Plus, they rented out a bouncy house, and they didn't leave the pump for it to pump it all up. Or nowadays, we just have not something that we need to really do, like that kind of labor, I think. I'm not 100% sure, though. I've never done one of that, and hopefully I never will, so that's perfect. But yeah, he basically ends up getting, all his presents were destroyed, and before there were these guys from the wedding that were basically destroying his bouncy house, and it was pretty hilarious because he ended up there were groomsmen, but then Greg realizes that one of the guys on the bouncy houses is the groom, meaning that he's getting married to them, and then he ended up missing the wedding. How does that work? I don't know. But anyway, there was a lot into it. There was a lot compact kind of thinking that was going on. But we have to go to the climatic. There's more climaxes. There's so much. There's really a big rising action where everything's kind of going wrong, and something goes really wrong. But not for long. Let's see what happens next. There is a letter in his bed, not on his bed, I guess, and it's from Aunt Linda, I think. I'm not 100% sure. I think that was Aunt Linda is one of the ones that Greg, that one of Aunt Greg's. Oh, also, by the way, if you want an update, right after the whole event, they come with all these cakes, and they're the moms of the people, the social media thing, where Greg's mom went, viral off this pie contest for forgetting Greg's birthday. They found him. And they gave him all these different presents and all that kind of stuff. And then we get into the whole episode with the deer. There it is. And we move on and on and on and on and on and on and on until he opens up the card from here. And let me just tell you what happens. He finds the card in the package. He won millions of dollars, millions and millions and millions of dollars. So then he hides it in his brother Manny's room. Now, if I can't tell you any more than this, he hides it in his room, under his mattress, because Manny is always kind of looking for that kind of stuff. And he is so excited, and he waits until Manny's watching his favorite TV show, and he takes it out, and he goes right down to the bus stop place, or not bus stop place, no, it's called the card trading place or whatever, comics place, I think. So he takes it down there, and he shows him his card, and then he says, "Did you hear the news?" And he says, "No." "Wait, what's the news? What's the news?" And he looks up, and there are 1,000 three-eyed Thibault cards that are micro creatures that were the rare ones. And just that morning, they had made all those cards worth about like 10 cents. So now Greg's life is over. Exactly. It's all over. Then something happy happens, and this is kind of like I was saying that this is the ending. So this is kind of all bad. But something good happens. The people who they went about his experiences with birthdays in part 2, and in part 2 and part 3, and we ended up getting into a little bit of this other birthday party that he would crash birthdays and he would steal their cake. Well, it ended up there was a new neighbor birthday party of a kid, and then they came over, and then they ended up crashing at their party and thought they were new friends. And so there were new neighbors, and they climbed over their fence trying to sneak over, and they're like, "Hey, look, he wants to be friends with you." And then they had this whole thing. But then apparently there was a rumor going around that Greg's party was the best ever, which is what he wanted. And then he ends up being the host of the kids of the son, who was blah, 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 the new neighbors, host of their birthday party. Now that is big, and that is not really where it ends off. It kind of ends off where he kind of becomes a host of everything, of all these different parties. And it's like Wednesday, this happens, and it's all really that kind of climax. And that's kind of what happened, and that was the story. And it was so amazing, I absolutely adored it. Before we get into the ranks, one last time, we have to go through this book. And it was so amazing, and let me just step you through about this entire plot. And it was just so amazing. So basically, Greg Heffley's birthday is soon. Now, this is the beginning, page 1 of the story. Greg Heffley's birthday is soon. And he goes and he's planning up his party, and then his parents end up forgetting about his birthday on the spot due to this pie eating contest. And he ends up figuring out, and then he goes viral on the internet along with his parents about how he forgot the birthday party. So then he wants to get it made up for his parents want to make it up for him. So they say, okay, you can throw whatever party you want. So he starts to plan these parties, and he makes these entire different plans and structures and all that kind of stuff. And that's kind of his own thoughts and experiences with birthdays. And then we get into where the plot really begins, where he starts to plan out his party, where people start arriving to his party, and it's complete chaos. But then after he finds a micro creatures card, which is totally worthless. So everything's really going wrong until he is invited to be hosting another birthday party. That is really the story. And it was so amazing. It's been such a great experience. And here are the ranks. The ranks for Diary of a Wimpy Kid Partypooper are, in all, not 1 through 100, not 1 through, we're going to do 1 through 10, but not out of this entire 500, there is only going to be one rank, 1 through 10. Are we ready to hear the ranks? 9.6! Woo! That is the ranks for Diary of a Wimpy Kid Partypooper. That was an amazing book, and I loved it, and I want to hear more on this 21st book. I am so excited. Thank you for watching. Keep hooked in for our next review.